Today is day 92 of the podcast, and as we consider possession by faith, that is to have confidence and utter reliance upon God. Hebrews 11 celebrates those who listened and learned and obeyed the Word of God, whether it was a one-time event or a history of a person walking by faith. So Hebrews 11 celebrates those. They laid hold of the unseen as though because it was promised, not because it was visible yet. They were able to see with that eye of their heart being enlightened. They were able to hear with the ear of the Spirit. You know, there could be a chapter written of all of those who were faithless, who turned away from the faith, and who refused to believe as well. I think the closest thing we come to that we find in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. It kind of alludes to that level of faithlessness. Verse 1, "For I don't want you to be unaware, brethren, that our fathers were all under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea. And they all ate the same spiritual food, and they all drank the same spiritual drink, for they were drinking from a spiritual rock which followed them, and the rock was Christ. Nevertheless, with most of them God was not well pleased, for they were laid low in the wilderness. Now these things happened as examples for us, that we should not crave evil things as they craved, and do not be idolaters as some of them were, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and stood up to play. Nor let us act immorally as some of them did, and 23,000 fell in one day. Nor let us try the Lord as some of them did, and were destroyed by the serpents. Nor grumble as some of them did, and were destroyed by the destroyer. Now these things happened to them as an example, and they were written for our instruction, upon whom the ends of the ages have come. Therefore let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. No temptation has overtaken you, but such as is common to man, and God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you're able, but with the temptation will provide the way of escape also, that you may be able to endure it." You know, we often treat possession by faith as though it were something that was accomplished just by individuals. We laid hold of faith just as individuals. But 1 Corinthians 10 lays it on a generation that was faithless, that a whole people could be faithless. Jesus says in Matthew 17:17, "O unbelieving and perverted generation." So here's today's question. What are the symptoms of an unbelieving generation in the church?